Well, hello, Lightworkers 5.0. This is Letty and
Hello, everyone. I'm Irene, and welcome back. We're back
welcome back.
again.
Yes. And we are so excited to be here with you today. And I just want to give a shout out to all of our viewers and everyone who's commented and sent us messages. And thank you for the support. We put out, I was just telling Irene, we put out our little blooper video of the laughing, and it really is such a joy to be here and to share this
Yeah.
energy and these messages that we get from spirit, that come into our minds, things that we were guided to talk to you about, to share with you today. So, yeah. So today's topic, Irene, what do you think about today's topic?
Yes. Well, as Letty said, we try and listen to what Spirit is telling us.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, what we talk about, they are also our experiences.
Yeah.
So we talk about what we experience, and then it's really up to you, to each and every one, to actually do with listen with discernment as to what's right for you and what is not. And we talk about this not to lecture, but just to share experiences, because that's how we learn. So today we thought, hello, money and abundance is always
It's
on the
always a good
top on the
conversation.
top list.
Yes, it
On
is
the top
always in
list.
the, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I think it is, Letty. Like, hey, we can't really deny it. Even if one doesn't watch the news, you can't deny it. You go to the grocery store and the prices have doubled. I mean, I'm here in Australia, and yes, that is what's happening. Like,
yeah.
coffee
Same here in
used to
California.
cost like this much. Now it's like double for a cup of coffee. Grocery meat has gone up. Yes, I do eat meat still. I'm not vegan. I do eat my veggies though. I'm a good girl.
Yeah,
But it is just something you cannot deny. It's something
right.
like, then the fears come, right, Letty? The fear will come. It's like, when is this gonna end? Is it gonna go back to what it was? And I'm
Hmm.
telling you what I'm getting from spirit, from my guides. No, it's not. I mean, do you want to go back to what it was? And if the prices go back to what it was, for sure, all the other things that we have experienced are going to go back to what they were. And I certainly don't want that. I
Right.
want this freedom, this going into harmony. That's like our word for today.
It is our word for today.
Harmony. We talked about that earlier.
Harmony. Yes, we
But
did.
yes, I think it is like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about money, the energy of money. Let's talk about abundance. Let's talk about gifts, gift, what
Hmm.
you give, you receive, what you give, you receive. And let's all be mindful and aware of it every minute, every second, because I think that is how we should be living anyway.
Well, and it's very 5D. I mean, we have to look at you want to be relevant to the time we're living in. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? We always want to be relevant to the time we're living in. And having had a 25-year career in broadcast media, television, and radio, that's something I always tell my clients. You got to be relevant. You can't talk about stuff that happened in the 80s or the 90s or act like that. You got to be in today. And I think one thing that I will say that I have learned in all my years of studying my personal relationship to money and where I was and where I am now. And I've had lots of great teachers. I was in network marketing for many years. And I do believe in multiple streams of income. I think that's just the way of the future. Do I believe that we're going to have a system in place eventually where not only are we purchasing goods and services, but maybe we're bartering goods and services, right? With neighbors, with people in the community. Yeah, I think that's very 5D. Also, it's very collaborative. But what I've learned was number one, money doesn't grow on trees. I know. Thank you, Dad, for that beautiful reminder for 30 years, in my ear. And also, no, you're not Rockefeller. I knew that growing up. But it's not bad. Okay. Money is not bad. So, one thing that I would encourage you guys that are listening is, how do you feel about money? What are some of the beliefs that you were given and that you kind of were indoctrinated thinking, right? What was some of the programming about money? Because money, I've come to understand, thank you, Mr. Ken Honda, for Happy Money. That book changed my life. Money is an energy. Money is an energy. And it's true that, as a spiritual worker, as a light worker, I just saw a podcast on this the other day, where if you work with spirit or you're doing anything in the upper realms and you're guiding people and coaching and helping, does that mean that you need to be, does humility mean poverty? And no, it does not at all. And but that also just goes in form with, to be a good Christian or to be a good, believer in God or Christ consciousness or in the great I am or Jesus. Do you have to be poor? Is it, do you give away everything you
Now, who
have
said that?
and not accept? You
Who
just
said
hear
that,
it.
Letty?
Yeah, I know who was that? I wonder.
Jesus equals poor.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Well,
something that we learned. That was something that we learned in catechism in church in different places all over, I think. And different religions have different teachings, right? I'm not going to bash the church altogether, but I will say that even growing up within the Hispanic culture, it's kind of like there's always that one cousin that's got all the money, and everybody kind of goes, how did that happen? And it 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 really comes down to what you believe in. And so I want to talk a little bit about the inflation that you mentioned.
yeah.
And something that's shifted for me, and I think you too, Irene, is yes, there's inflation. Yes, there's higher things have come up, and higher pricing, but so has my ability to manifest more abundance for myself.
Mhm.
And so has my belief in, number one, I'm worthy of it. My belief that I co create with God anything I want to experience in this life, meaning more clients, more work, opportunities to sing at different places in my experience, for me, in my example, um, or start an online business, right? Have a side hustle, a little plan B, whatever it is, and that's where the trust comes in with God, is that we're going to be fine. You know, it's not really the form and the price of the food. It's whether you think you can afford it or that you're going to be okay and that God will take care of you and that you're going to be able to buy what you need. But it doesn't always mean that you have to buy anything. You can grow your own food. This is causing a lot of creativity, um, consciousness. It's really, I say, it's just causing a lot of people to have kind of like a little burst of creativity and getting out of their comfort zone and maybe planting some planters in the back and having some fruits and vegetables or get a
Yeah.
lemon tree.
Yeah.
Two
You
or three
think
years,
about
you'll
the
have your own lemon.
alternative.
Yeah, I think it's causing us to think outside the box and to
Yeah.
look at, well, what can I do? I mean, I want apple. I like apples and I want to have, let me just go plant a tree. I'll have that little spot in the backyard and I water it. And in 2 or 3 years, I'll have apples, and then you can do whatever you want with them. And I think when you look at, and there's a lot coming up on social media too. If you're a TikToker or Instagram or even Facebook or YouTube, tons and tons of videos coming up for people who are teaching how to can, how to preserve vegetables, how to
Mm.
pickle things, how to, get ready for winter time. And they're harvesting their own little half acre or quarter acre little plot of land, right? So I think it's abundance comes in all forms: creativity, faith, trust, and then of course the green stuff. That's what I think.
Yeah, for sure. And so I want to touch on what you said about our parents telling us money doesn't grow on trees. Why
Dun
not?
dun dun. I know.
I
I
mean,
thought
if
that's
we
what the lead.
are creators, we're creators. Our energy is pretty much creators, whether you believe it or not. I mean, for me, it's
Right.
hard to believe. I'm still trying to, get to be that creative me, but why not? Why not? It's actually a mindset that when somebody tells you that, like our parents did, money doesn't grow on trees. You're not Rockefeller. You're not Bill Gates or somebody who's
Yeah.
a billionaire. Why not? It's telling you that, hey, you stay put in your place because you won't be like them. You're just going to be like that, living life as we have lived. So that's how the generation prior to us, and really
Conditioning.
our
Mhm.
generation too, still got that conditioned mind that I would never be good enough. I would never be rich in terms of money. I would never have a lifestyle that I can just go travel or whatever I want. I would always be in this prison cell of a job that doesn't make me happy. So I think that's all a mindset. And I think that's the one that we actually need to start changing within
Mhm.
ourselves, and
Mhm.
also, within yours, whoever is listening, that
Right.
that is not true anymore. And the other thing I want to say is about inflation. We talked earlier in the intro about inflation. Where did we hear inflation? I mean, who invented a word? I don't know. Somebody invented it to say that we have to increase, to raise the interest rates or whatever. I don't even
Mhm.
understand it. Hey, it's not my world to
Right.
increase the interest rates so that we can fight inflation. And well, here in the start, that's what they're saying. And it's like,
Mm. Well,
fight
here's the
what? I mean, hello, inflation, like the prices have doubled. And you said you're fighting something. What is it that you're fighting? And again, the wordings in media, the fight, we have to, inflate what? Your egos. What do you inflate the prices? That's what
right.
you're saying. But who invented inflation? Why is that term there? And I think that's
Mm.
more of the old Piscean age, where people in authority tell us how to live our lives, and we have
Well,
allowed it, right? We have
yeah, we
allowed it,
have.
like
Yeah.
generations have allowed it, but now is the time where we are waking up to that. The kids, the younger generation, they probably know that. They won't accept that unless they're fearful of their parents or their carers, that they won't accept that energy of just being submissive.
Mhm.
And talking about income, we don't have to go find work. We don't have to really be doing something to get that money coming in, because it
No,
can
just
come
allow it.
just somebody can just come off the street and say, here's
Yeah.
$10,000.
Yeah. You never know.
You
You
never
never
know,
know.
but
Yeah.
it
However it
is
comes in.
according to your vibration.
Right.
If your
Well, and I
vibration is
think,
like, no, I don't deserve this money,
yeah,
then you
then it's
don't.
no. And you're proven right no matter what, right? Whether you think you can or think you can't, or whether you think you're worthy or whether you're not worthy, you're
Yeah.
proven right. So
Yes.
I think one thing that I will say that I've come to understand in watching some of these YouTubers, right? These influencers or whatever, I think they're great. But um, money does grow on trees, because if you plant one tree every year, within a decade, you have 10 trees that can yield fruit that you can sell, that you can can, that you can give away. It's not, I think, one thing that I love about Ken Honda, and he talks about the energy of money, happy money, is that it's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of
Yeah.
energy. That's all it is, guys. It's energy. So are you great? Are you grateful when you receive that energy coming towards you of abundance and prosperity? And are you just as equally grateful when you give it? I think that for me was
Yeah.
the big one. When you go pay for gas, thank
Yes.
you, happy money. When you pay that bill, and you're writing that check to, you know, the rent or the mortgage, thank you, happy money, for being in my life, for being here so that I could live in this beautiful house or drive this car that works so well or get the gas that I need to get to do whatever I get to do today, right? Where are we in our gratitude? Because that also has a lot to do with the energy of abundance, the energy of wealth and prosperity. But really, it also comes down to creativity, because creativity also allows for visualization and for you to look at things from a whole different higher perspective. You know, some people, for example, right, real estate has kind of over here in California, it has slowed down just a little bit, right? Everybody's like, oh my God. And I'm of the belief, sorry guys, the spirit's trying to come out here. But I'm in the belief that
Let it
I would,
out.
yeah, bring it on. I would so much rather buy a fixer upper than a brand
Me
new super great
too.
house. We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
A super awesome house with all the bells and whistles. because I want to put my own bells in there. I want to whistle
Yeah.
Dixie, right? I want to be whistling Dixie when I'm painting and doing this and doing that and making it my own sanctuary because it's our sanctuary space. And not everybody likes that. Some people are like, yeah, no, I want it all set for me. And that's okay too. But
Yeah.
in creativity, when you're in your creative mode and you're letting all those creative juices flow, you are in abundance. You are just swimming in abundance because there's nothing holding you back. There's no resistance, right? At that point. And I notice that whenever I'm in my most creative um, energy, is when the money comes in. Hey, remember you lent me that money 5 years ago? Here it is. Or hey, I have something, and somebody wanted me to give you this envelope. They wanted to thank you for singing at their daughter's wedding, and they said they forgot to give it to you months later, right? And it's like you said, Irene. Yes, money does come out sometimes just from God. It just comes in, but it's when you're in that creative space, there's no resistance, there's no fear because you're joyful. You're imagining things, you're using your creative visualization to like look at a wall and you're like, what am I going to, or how am I going to walk out into the world today? It's an empty canvas. Have you ever just gotten up and gone out and you're on your way to work and you're driving and you're looking at the day all around you and you're going, this is an empty canvas. This
Hmm.
is my canvas. How is it? Well, how is it going to look at the end of this day? What colors am I going to put on here? And we are on the tapestry of life, right? This couldn't be more colorful if you if you
Yep.
drew it yourself. And I think it's an opportunity for all of us right now, instead of going into fear and with the real estate or with inflation or with, this or that, wherever you are in the world, try to trust that all is going to be well. I mean, we've been through it, Irene and I, many times where we just, we have to just stop, drop, and roll, right? Roll into faith and roll into our trust with God and just say, okay, Lord, you take the wheel here, right?
Yeah. So Letty.
Yeah.
So
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, I'm just gonna ask. So, for example, you come across like, an inheritance, for example, and you've
Mhm.
got this much money, a
Yeah.
lot of money given to you. You're the sole person to inherit all the fortune. There's a lot of people who are like that. People who have won lotto, for example.
Yeah.
But you
Hmm.
always hear that something happens and they lose all the money. So if you've got this inheritance money and it's
Hmm.
all yours, there it is in your bank balance. It's like how many figures there. Why do you think people don't keep that abundance in their life? So for example, somebody gave you $500,000 and more than you need, really more than you need.
Right.
But how come a lot of people still lose that money? What do you think is the issue there?
Well, it's a lack mentality. It's the feelings of unworthiness. It's feeling like, okay, I got lucky. Not that I
Hmm.
am a perfect loving being in God's eyes, not that I'm deserving of it or that I'm worthy of having it. Luck has nothing to do with it, guys. You manifest what you believe in. And if you believe that you are perfect
So they
and loved,
manifested the money, for
and
example.
well, they did manifest it, but to be able to stay in that prosperity, abundance mindset, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
You can receive. I'm a millionaire. I've been working since I was 14. I know I've made over $1 million since then. Lord, that's been a bunch of years, working, working, working. So yes, I'm a millionaire and I can
Do you
bring it
feel you
in.
are?
I do now. I do
Mhm.
now, but I've been a work in progress because money would come in and then sure enough, I need new tires. Well, there it goes. Well, oh gosh, I had to pay the tags on the car. Well, I got 300, now I'm paying 299. I mean, it's if you don't believe that you are deserving of it, then it's going to come in and you're taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, 3 steps back. You're just you're bunny hopping all through life, and you think that that's just the struggle is real, right? You think, well, that's just how it is, I guess. Not everybody can have that money, but people who have had that kind of money, they think, well, I got to spend it all right now. I don't want to go. I don't want to ever be poor again. And so it's that thought that they're going to lose it. It's that fear that they're going to lose it. And sure enough, you start to pay for this, and you start to pay for that, and you start to give it
Yeah.
here, and then you give it there. Pretty soon, you don't have anything.
Because the
Well,
issue wasn't the money anyway. It
no,
wasn't. It's your belief
the
systems.
belief system.
Yeah,
Yep,
isn't it? Like
absolutely.
you have all this, and then before you know it, in a year's time, it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And because all this
Mhm.
time, probably you're feeling like um, not happy, not in gratitude.
Well, you're
And
just
that
afraid
only
to
goes to
lose it all.
show, well, that only goes to show that having that physical money doesn't make you happy. That's so true, right?
Right.
Because happiness is from within.
Right.
Whether you don't have any cash, you don't have any bank balance, but you're happy, that is the most important thing. And
Yeah.
happiness equals love, which means if you're happy, like truly happy, that is, you love yourself.
Hmm.
How else
Well,
can
and you
that
have
be, right?
trust. You trust that you are loved, you're lovable, and you're loving. So what you do give out energetically comes back energetically.
Yeah.
What the form is doesn't matter. It could be money. It could be a bunch of apples. It could be, somebody giving you
Yeah.
tickets to go see, Cirque du Soleil, or, I don't know, a massage. Who knows? It could be a million different things. It's not the form. It's that generous energy. It's that abundant energy, whether it's 500 or 5 apples. It's an energy. It's an energy of giving and receiving. And so I remember, I heard this from, well, Neil Donald Walsh, but I've heard it from many, many masters, Robert Kiyosaki, also Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Um, when you give generously, when you just give, when you give a tip, when you give money to somebody that you love, right? You just share your abundance. We love to do that. Lots of people love to give to others, right? We love to just be that person who wants to shower everybody at Christmas, right? We just love Christmas, and we love birthdays, and we get all this stuff. And this was me, is why I'm bringing this up. But when someone offered me something, I was like, no, 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 it's okay. Oh, no, 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 you don't have to worry about it. Oh, no, you don't have to pay for lunch, I'll pay for it. Or, oh, it's okay, I don't need, no, 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 you don't have to buy me a cup of coffee. Or, oh, you don't need to give me a tip for singing 10 hours at your party. I don't need anything, right? When you say no to anything, not just money, any gift, any exchange of energy, remember there's no form here. You are not only blocking that flow of abundance to yourself because you're saying no,
So why
I
do you
don't,
block it?
well, because you don't feel worthy, right? You
Yes.
don't feel you deserve it. But when you
Yeah.
block it from yourself, okay, so we know that's kind of a no-brainer. Obviously, if we're blocking it, we're not going to receive it. But we're also now messing with that person's flow of abundance. So if you're a
It could
people
be,
person,
yeah.
you could, yeah, if you're a people pleaser like I used to be, this really hit home for me because I was like, huh, what? What do you mean? Oh, I blocked their flow of abundance. I can't do that. I don't want to mess up somebody's flow of abundance. I don't care about my flow of abundance because I'll say no all day long. But I don't want to hurt her. Oh, she's so nice. Okay. I'll say yes next time. You see how I would much rather be in service to someone else and not block their flow of abundance and ruin their life, right? Than accept what someone wanted to give me because I didn't feel I was worthy of it. Well, that has since changed because now if anybody ever offers me anything, I'm like, I gracefully and joyfully receive your gift.
Yeah.
And I receive it with love and gratitude. I have no blocking. There's no more palm up. I palm down. But it really does make a difference. And that is true. You do this or you do this and
You
you
block
receive
the energy
something
or you receive
or
the
you receive
energy.
it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
receive it. And so it's not, and I have to say that when I got the click on that one and it switched for me, it was about 4 years ago. I had just come back from Mexico and I was living in Mexico for 4 years. I sold everything I owned. I came back with boxes, like my suitcase and a bunch of, you know, stuff. I had nothing. I didn't even have a bed. I had a mattress. My sister let me have her mattress. Thank you, sister. Um, but I had to start from scratch. Well, I I thought, okay, so how is this all going to work? Like, what am I going to do? And I cannot tell you, Irene, within 1 year, I had a house full of furniture. People were, because I was so open to the concept. I didn't let fear get in the way. I knew that God was going to provide, and whatever I could do to be of service to someone, I was. But when they offered something to me, I said yes. I received it gracefully. Thank you so much. They were so happy to have me back stateside, back in the US, that people came in from church, from everywhere. And we had, I mean, my husband was
A
like,
welcome party.
yeah, it was a welcome party. And he even said, he goes, we need to leave the country more often. Like, this is insane, Letty. Oh my God. There's just stuff everywhere. But it was joyfully given, and it was gracefully received. There was just, but it was an exchange of love energy at that point, because there was so much love in it too. And so I think, at the end of the day, it does take some shadow work. We both have done that.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Mhm.
And I just went through a big shadow work. I'm still going through it, but don't be afraid of the shadow, because each time you know that you're gonna go up in frequency. And I was just thinking, like, this is like a vision in my head now, like, including me and maybe you, most of us have lived in that state where we are under the umbrella of someone else or the family. We live in that umbrella and we don't want to go out into the rain where you could get wet, and that's not allowed. So we are living under the umbrella of somebody else or a belief system or family, and that's how we do. Most of us, not all, most of us are afraid to go and experience what is out there, and therefore we block, including abundance and money, because I'm living here in this house with this somebody, and I owe this somebody for allowing me to live here, or I have this responsibility. For example, if you're married, I have this responsibility to my spouse to be here and to serve and to do whatever a good husband or a good wife does. That's living under that umbrella of responsibility and obedience. So that's why most of the times abundance doesn't come in, because it's just there outside the umbrella. It's not in the umbrella. It's just outside. We just need to allow it. We just need to go out there and bring it in.
Yeah.
And bring it in. You know what I mean? So that umbrella represents the belief systems that keeps us prisoner. But we think we're prisoners of that, but we aren't really, because hey, there are no fences around that umbrella outside. We just created it in our mind. But it's going out there, experiencing, going on an adventure into the unknown. As Spirit always says, the unknown is where the rest of you is, the rest of that adventure. And we have the whole of eternity to create that adventure. Why not do it now? What are you waiting for? That's what Jesus said what are you waiting for? Go and run, go and dip your feet into the ocean, get yourself wet in the rain, something like that. Allow that ice cream to drip on the floor and be dirty, kind of thing.
Right.
So that is the energy of this, what we're calling 5D. I mean, who knows how to define 5D? We just feel it. It's just a
feeling. It's much more relaxing too.
Yeah, it's a feeling of, yes, I'm doing what I want, and I'm allowing it. And I don't allow anyone to tell me, no, you can't do that. I don't allow anyone to put me into here. You just do that. Don't do that because that's not allowed. Or don't do this. Or just, all the don'ts from other people, which they don't realize it's not against other people, but it's just that they don't also know themselves. That's why they're saying it out to somebody, what actually they should be doing themselves.
Right.
It's a projection. And we all do that. I mean,
Yeah.
I do that, you do that,
Yeah.
but it's the
Yeah.
recognizing of that projection. If you recognize what you're projecting out to somebody, that's when you start healing yourself.
Well, you're just correcting the error, right? And I think that's something
Yeah.
that we talked about today too. It's not a mortal sin. People make mistakes, and
There are no sins, there are no mortal
there's no
sins.
sins, there's
Whoever
no
said
mortal
that again,
sins.
Letty? We're not going to mention.
I'm not going to say.
Because
I had
it's
enough
in the
of it
old
this last
age.
weekend. Oh God, I had enough, believe me. But I think it's an error. We're just an error in thinking, an error in judgment, an error in where we see ourselves in the situation, but also others, and the whole paradigm of it all. This is all serving us in some way. It is. We are receiving. It might be a gentle nudge for some. It's a big push for some. It's painful, right? This whole shift in our reality right now. And there's a lot that people are latching onto and feeling fear about. But what I would recommend, and I say this to everyone, don't, if you don't have to watch television and news and all that stuff, don't do it. Watch me and I read. We laugh all day long. But watch
not all day. I don't want to get bloated.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean,
there we go.
Watch other things that are going to be life affirming, right? Things that are going to bring you joy, things that are going to be silly, and that get you kind of out of that fear mongering, in your face. Because I noticed that when you spend a lot of time receiving fearful information, when you look up from your television, all you see is fear everywhere around you. Have you ever had this? And I know there's a study. I'm not even going to start to quote any of this, but you know how they say that when you're pregnant and all of a sudden now you're pregnant, you see nothing but pregnant women. Like all of a sudden it comes into your experience and you're seeing all these pregnant ladies. Or when you drive, if you get a red Mercedes, now all of a sudden you see all these red Mercedes everywhere, right? There's something that happens in our mind, right? And now we're just paying attention and focused on that one thing. So pregnant lady in a red Mercedes, that's even double, right? And it works the same way with fear as well as it does with abundance and prosperity. So if you start looking out from your window, guys, viewers, look for things that are abundant. What do you have an abundance of? Do you have an abundance of love? Do you have an abundance of funny, moments and humor? Do you have an abundance of, love from your children, or an abundance of space where you live? Do you have an abundance of time to plant a garden? Do you have an abundance of fruit and vegetables and chickens? If you have chickens and eggs coming in, I mean, what do you have an abundance of? How are you abundant? Because we're all abundant. We're all abundant in something. We're just not focusing on it. We're focusing on what we don't have.
Focus on the experience that you want and not what you don't want. And I'm guilty of focusing on what I don't want because I didn't know. But even just say 2 years ago, I was focusing so much, when the pandemic came. I guess it was 3 years ago, but I remember 2021 was when I focused so much because I was able to. I focused on the alternative media. And they can think, oh no, the gold prices, the silver prices. And I got myself silver and gold. And then, oh no, food shortage. And I got myself a small freezer to put all my food in. And everything that I'm hearing from the alternative media, oh no, it's like 10 days of darkness. Like, oh my God, I got myself candles. You know that? And that's true. I know, right? Now it's like I'm laughing at it. And then I just told my husband, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I said, remember that time when we had that freezer was full of food? Now, where is the food? And the freezer is like in storage now. And did we ever run out of food then? No. And now we don't have that now. Do we ever run out of food? No. So it's all this panic. And then I realized I was listening to that information and I was allowing other people, these people on YouTube to tell me what I need to be doing, whereas I should have been looking at myself and thinking, is that right for me? Do I want to do that? Am I coming from love or am I coming from fear? I was totally coming from fear.
Yeah.
that time. And it was like nothing really happened. I've got my silver and gold, but it's just there.
Hmm.
I still believe in that though. I still believe
Right.
that, it's good to have that. But
Yeah.
I bought it out of
Mm.
fear. But now it's like, no, we're abundant. You just need to allow it. You just need not to focus on whatever it is that you're listening to. I'm not
Right.
saying that the alternative media is bad. Of course not. But if my frequency is according to their frequency, I'm going to listen to them. But now I've gone beyond that and I realized
Yeah.
that thank you to them for helping me to see the contrast that and helping me choose what I want in that contrast.
Hmm.
You see how that fear goes. It keeps coming
Yeah.
back because we're so conditioned. But when it comes back and you listen to the fear, it's not bad, because eventually you'll realize, that was a lesson
Yeah.
for me. That was a
Yeah.
lesson, total
Yeah.
lesson
Everything
for me.
serves. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All the
Yeah. Everything
experiences are
serves.
valid, as what Spirit says. It's everything is valid. Every person is valid. Every person is worthy. Every being is worthy. Animals,
Hmm.
tree, all this.
Hmm.
Everything has got consciousness, and we just need to look at everything like there's nothing serious here. I'm just, I chose this experience, and yeah,
Hmm.
you can close the experience if you want to. If you don't want that life anymore that you're living now and you don't want that life, close it. You totally have the
Close it. Yeah.
power to do that.
Yeah.
But we all have
Well,
to
and I
have that
think that's
awareness.
it.
Yeah.
It's a choice. It comes down to choosing.
Yeah.
It's a choice point. It all is a choice point, guys. I mean, I for years I besmirched everyone. Like, no, 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 until I realized, wow, this isn't cool. I'm not honoring this person's wanting their desire to be abundant and give me something.
Yeah.
But
And
I
you too.
also, yeah, and me too. But I also had to choose whether or not I was going to stay with the old paradigm of, well, just certain people are just meant to be rich and certain people just are meant to be poor. No. So that's a choice point, right? You change and you shift. But also, I was going to heal whatever misconceptions I had about money. Money is not bad. Money does not make people bad. Money is not evil. Money is not for scoundrels. Money is not, in any way, shape, or form the cause of, all the bad things in the world. I think you have to look at the individual receiving it and whatever their path on this plane is, right? They're learning and they're growing and they have to figure it out. And we all serve a purpose. We are all here learning from each other. We are one mind, one consciousness. Um, and your
Mm.
vibration does matter. Your vibration does matter. So if you
It's all
want a
energy.
plentiful,
It's
it's
all
all energy.
energy.
So if you really want a plentiful world, a plentiful experience, an abundance of peace and harmony in the new earth, then be what you want to see in the world. That phrase really matters. It makes a difference now to me in a way that it hadn't before. Be the change you want to see. Be that vibrational footprint of what you
Mhm.
want to walk in, what you want to see, because our vibration does make a difference at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I wanna say is, how during our awakening, Letty, I mean, for me, I'm talking about myself. I got really interested in different people, different coaches, tarot readers, channelers, and I booked with them. I have.
Yeah,
I paid like one lady. I paid like almost $400.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is, I did not hold a grudge against that somebody who charges too much. But I just thought, I want this. I like her
yeah.
energy, the way that she talks about herself. I want this. Therefore, I paid it, and just it didn't matter to me. You
Right.
see, because and it's okay. I mean, it's an exchange of energy. What I see is that during my work, the many years I've been working as a doctor, I always have chosen, when I was in New Zealand anyway, I always have chosen to work in places where they label as low socioeconomic status. And in my thinking, the suffering thinking of me was like, I can help them. They don't have to pay
Mm.
me. I can help them. But of course, the company pays me. But a lot of doctors then they get to pay from the company, plus they get extra paid to them
Mm.
for just
Mhm.
being there. Me, I refuse to get extra. The patients pay like a measly amount, like, and it's 7 times more expensive in another practice where they charge privately. But I would always choose to go into a practice where they cater to the low socioeconomic patients. And that was good. I felt good about it. But over time, it was draining my energy because
Mm.
I feel, I mean, I don't know, it's just my opinion. I feel that you give something for free, most of the times that someone who receives it do not appreciate it in
Right.
the 3D world. And so
Right.
they just drain your energy and they keep coming back, and you get drained because the demands go higher
Yeah.
and you don't charge. So if you give, for example, if you get a reading for free,
Mhm.
you offer somebody that reading, they may or may not appreciate that. I'm not saying that they haven't appreciated the readings that you gave for free. They might have, but does it go the long way?
Right. Right.
I know this is a bit, it could, I could sound arrogant, but that's how I feel. I think that's true. You
Well,
you
it
put
is.
worth into yourself, because I didn't for a long time. And then, you kind of think of expecting something in return, but you don't get it. Why? Because your
No.
energy says, no, I don't
Right.
deserve that.
Well, and that just is that's a snowball, because then you feel salty, then you get a little resentful.
Yeah.
Then you're like, well, I'm not going to do that. So you start limiting, I'll never do that for her. I'll never, do anything
And
for
then you
that
kind of
family
judge
again.
the other person
And
too,
then you're
right?
in judgment of someone because they didn't tip you, even though you said you didn't want anything. They should have given you something anyway. Well, Jesus, God, yeah, Jesus is saying, you know, it's a vicious cycle. It's just boom, boom, boom. It keeps going and going and going. And it's not loving. That's not what love is. That is not loving. So if you offer a service and someone says, how much do you charge? And you say, this is my fee. And if they need a break or a discount, I do that. If someone says, oh, okay, can I do half maybe, and then maybe later pay you the other half? Sure. That's no problem. I'm very flexible in that way. But I've come to value my time. I've come to value my service. I've come to
Yeah.
value what I'm giving my talent, right, to this person.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And chances are, more than likely, most often than not, whenever I do that, the day of the event or the day of whatever, I end up getting what I charged and then more. Like, you know what? I thought I didn't know it was coming in. I got extra. I got paid earlier than I thought. So here, thank you so much for being so patient with me and understanding. And I just put in a little extra for you. And you're like, oh, okay. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. I agree with you 100%. There's nothing wrong with that. And when you do come from an abundant mindset and from a self-loving mindset, and you know that you are providing something and they are receiving something and it's okay, that changes everything. That totally changes everything. Your abundance chart starts to go off. You start to ding, 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 ding on, you have time, you have better health, you have happier days, you have more time with family, you have these lunches, and it's just things start to come into your experience that are more love, more
Yeah.
love, more light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So
Well, I
there
am
we
so
go.
happy we had this conversation, guys.
Me
So for
too.
those of you, honestly, don't stress out. Look up Happy Money. We'll put the links in the in the comments in our description box. Um, but Happy Money by Ken Honda and Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. But
If they
also,
resonate.
yeah, if they resonate with you, that's what I was going to say. Also, listen to your own guides and teachers. Listen to your own heart,
Yeah.
and listen to what feels right for you. And, above all else, trust that you are loved. Trust that you are perfect just the way you are, and that we're all in this together. Your vibration does matter.
Yeah.
And click the bell. Click the bell. Be generous
Yeah,
and click
please,
the
please,
bell.
please. No. I was going to
Also,
say, above all else, you want clarity of mind, and that would solve everything. If
Yeah.
you're clear in yourself of who you are, because you're not the body, we are spirits, but we forgot, and we can't really feel it most of the time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, me
Yeah.
including, but we
Yeah.
always have to keep trying, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you, Letty.
You're welcome. Thank you, Miss Irene. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. God be with you. Have a beautiful experience wherever you are. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.